Enzo Maresca, it's a process. We have to understand that. He is not Pep Guardiola. So if you're someone that's sitting there thinking, oh, Maresca doesn't do well in his first 5 games, doesn't do well in his first 10, am I saying loses his first 5, loses his first 10, all of them, that he should just get, be allowed to carry on? No. But, that's probably not likely because we were in a good enough squad to at least win a couple of games. But Pep never really had a good start to the season either, even when we won titles, even when we won the treble, the domestic treble, the Centurions and stuff. We have to give Maresca time. And one thing I don't want to see is us becoming as divided as other fan bases. We don't want to be like United fans. Like I said, they probably all get together and get behind the team when the game's on, but we know, especially since Fergie's left, there has been a big divide within the United fan base itself. I do not want to see that, and I feel like people are starting to do that already. When I'm going to the games now and I see Maresca ball and it's not really working out, of course, like we all will, I'm going to be reminiscent of the Pep Guardiola days and how well we were doing under Pep. But we can't use that to diss Maresca. Something else you've got to understand is, in his last season, yes, Pep, in my opinion, still had a very good season, winning the 2 trophies, winning the cups. But Pep didn't win the league in his last season. Pep also didn't win the league in his first season. So if your expectation is Maresca wins the league or he's out, well, we didn't do that with Pep. Do you know what I mean? Pep came in to win the Champions League in his first season. That was actually his main aim. He didn't win it till he didn't win it till 23, so what was that? 7 years into his spell. The first season, we got knocked out in the round of 16 to Monaco. Do you know what I mean? That was his expectation. We didn't sell him because what? It was a process, and that's what we need to understand. Under Maresca, I do watch a lot of streams and stuff, and one of them that I watch is the Mancunian Way. Now, I was listening to a stream the other night. It was not when he was live, it was a bit after, but a little bit of chill time, like watching stuff. And I saw that he was saying that he was getting called a main road wanker. I'm a younger fan. I was born in 2007. I've only ever seen success. But these people, these fans, these older fans were there in the harder times. Some of them had to go through it in the childhood, teenage years, early 20s, early 30s. They've been through the shit. The worst we've been through probably, and I know we finished lower, but in terms of period of form where we were shocking, the worst we've been in is probably 24, 25 in the middle of the season when we got like 1 win in 13 games across all competitions and we still ended up in third. Like, that's the worst. These lot have seen us in lower leagues. Martin from the Mancunian Way said he got called a main road wanker, not by rival fans, by our own fan base. This is the sort of stuff that I'm saying is going to divide the fan base. This is the sort of stuff that probably would have divided the Man United fan base along with obviously their owners and stuff. But this is the sort of stuff that we don't need to do. I've talked about not getting on Maresca's back early. Don't be getting on the fans back early either, especially the fans, if anything. Maresca, even if he does well, he's going to come and go. The fans are going to still be here, so stop getting on their backs. I don't know him personally either, so before anyone says, oh, my backing up a friend, never met him. Do like him, do like his streams and stuff. And I know that probably is a minority, so that probably doesn't apply to a lot of you, but I just thought I had to get out there. So look, if you're on the video, then you can see me streaming. If you're streaming, then you can see me recording the video. As you can see there, currently 0 people in. It is the first stream. Maresca has expectations, yes, but I think certain people don't understand is you can still have the same expectations based on the squad and stuff as we did under Guardiola, but the leniency on it has to be different. For instance, Pep won Centurions in 17-18, domestic treble / formidable sport. I don't count the Community Shield because that's not a real trophy for me. 1920, we won a Carabao Cup. That was a shit season for our standards, apparently. That's how harsh the expectations were because of what he'd done in the last 2 years before that. Maresca is in his first season. You can have the same expectations. Don't get me wrong, I still want to win the league. I still want to win trophies. Obviously, I would want us to compete on all fronts properly, and I think the squad is good enough to do that. But that harsh leniency that we didn't have with Pep, and probably deservedly so because he's shown what he can do with us in previous seasons, so it's like, why aren't we doing that again this season? Well, in those seasons that was happening. Maresca can have those same expectations of winning the league and stuff, but the leniency can be lower. it can be. What I mean by that is, for me, minimum, bare minimum is Europe. If he did get into Europe without getting Champions League, I'd probably lean on the side of getting him out if it's at the end of the season. I do think the board might keep him though if that was the case. But as I said, I would probably lean to getting him out. For me, the minimum should be Champions League, especially given the fact that the Premier League usually gets 5 places. That should be a minimum for us. If he gets that, I think he stays. Now, am I saying that it's a process to the point where if we get 4th this season, we get 4th next season, we get 4th the season after that, we should just keep going with him? No, because it shows we're not improving. But first season especially has to be lenient. We've all acknowledged how Maresca is nowhere near the level of Pep. In my opinion, he probably will never be, and I'm not just talking at City, I'm talking his whole career, will never be at the level of Pep. But obviously I hope he will, especially with us, because that means we're winning a shitload. But I don't think he ever will be. So just take that and then understand why you're holding him to the same expectations that you were with Pep, who's the greatest manager our club's ever had. Arguably, definitely, a lot of arguments to be made that he's the best manager there's ever been. Viana's in a very different job, right? So it's going to take a couple of years. He's a sporting director. He's got to do a lot of different things. Maresca's just got to manage the team, really, and maybe have a little bit of say in the transfers. Viana's been here for 1 year. Now, you can have arguments over this window, but even in this window, we've signed Anderson. Where's everyone gone on Anderson? Why are people going, oh yeah, we signed Anderson 4 weeks ago, but that's it, right? First of all, we're looking at Buwadi. I have had my questions over Buwadi, but I'll get into that in a bit. And you've got to understand, a lot of these players got far in the World Cup, so that means they're getting the rest now. That means it's harder to get anywhere with them. So I think, after taking a step back for a bit, I think we've still got a month and a bit left of the window. We've got till September, start of September. So I think we'll see a lot of movement towards the end of the window, and that's ins and outs. But I'm seeing people say sack Viana because there's little movement. First of all, like I said, Anderson we've brought in. That's a big sign in itself. You compare that to other teams. Liverpool signed 1 player, Victor Munoz. Apparently he's good. Don't know a lot about him. Arsenal just won the league. Yes, they are linked to Guimaraes. Yes, they are linked to Vinicius Jr. But we are also linked to people. Arsenal have only signed 1 player. They've signed 1 player. And that 1 player in comparison to our 1 player, Solis, he might be good. I don't know. I've heard good things about him apparently. But I don't know if that's just Arsenal fans trying to big him up. Obviously, they're going to do that. But that's the only signing they've actually officially made. And yet we're getting mad when we've made also 1 official signing, our official signing, someone that's going to come in straight away. That Solis fella's probably just a backup for them. So, do you know what I mean? When we compare it to other clubs aren't really moving, which shows you that it's probably just to do with the time and the World Cup. The fact that that's only just ended. Players are going on holiday now instead of when it would have been, if there was no World Cup, it would have been when the World Cup was on. That's why you see a lot of moves happening at this time, usually, but it's different circumstances. Also, Viana was here last season. Viana signed Cherki for 30 mil. Yes, I know we went for him for Wirtz initially, but we went out on that. We could have went and got in someone that was similar price, but we got Cherki, who actually had a better season than him last season. Cost us 30 mil. I know Donnarumma was at the end of his contract. Got him for 25 mil. Gate here, know he was at the end of his contract, but for a long time, it was seeming like Liverpool. If anywhere he goes, it's Liverpool. We come in, we get him. Those are good signings. Even Trafford now, I know he's going, but within a season without only really playing cup games. I've just seen a reported fee that he's going to Leeds for 40 million. That's a profit on him. So we've got to give it time. I mean, at least to the end of this window. I think the rest of the season, probably next season as well. He's also under a new manager now, so it's a completely different thing. In terms of the criticism, there's a difference. There's 1 going, no criticism. There's 2, criticism, and then there's 3, which is going, sack him. We haven't had enough time under them to say sack them. That's just my point. It's going to the extreme too early. We've got to give them time. After a year, after 2 years, after even after 6 months, we can have a bit more of a proper conversation. But right now, we are in the early phase of what is going to be a long process. I have had my own concerns in this transfer market. I did a video on Buwadi. I questioned that one. Nothing wrong with the playoffs. I've only seen him in the World Cup. I know some people I've seen him for Lille. Apparently he's got a lot of potential. He seemed quite decent in the games. Saw him in the World Cup, particularly against like Brazil in the first game. I don't have a problem with him. Don't have a problem with his potential. Don't mind him coming in. And that's who it looks like we're strongest to get next after Anderson. Then, when we go in for the likes of Buadi, then when I hear some of the other names that are being questioned, I'm hearing them by. I don't know a lot about him. Looked him up. He's played 24 games in the league. And by the way, playing for PSG, I think he's got 3 goals and 4 assists or the other way around. So people are saying this is the solution. PSG is saying 50 mil for him as well, by the way. Is he the solution? I don't know. That to me is just another process player. With Maresca, they said he's going to seamlessly take over. So I thought, okay, well, we need to make some serious signings then, because Maresca's obviously nowhere near to the level of Pep. So it's going to be a lot different. Then when I'm seeing these type of names, I'm thinking, well, Monga, 16, Buadi, 18, this Mbaye, I don't know exactly how old he is, but I think he's quite young. These are young players. This shows that it really is a process, which makes me just think what the club was saying was just kind of things he say to make the fans get on board, to make the fans not concerned that there's going to be some sort of drop off, because they don't want fans to think that, because then they might get on the boards back themselves. So obviously they wouldn't want that. So yeah, I mean, I have my own concerns. Main point was stop getting on the backs of the manager, Viana in particular, and the main point, stop getting on other fans' backs. If we turn against each other, we might as well just sack the whole process off, because the minute it turns to shit, that's it. That is it. And then not only is that going to affect the current state, that's going to affect the next manager, because the next manager is going to look at it and go, well, he didn't win the Premier League in his first season and these went batshit crazy, so why would I want to go in there? We do not want to become the club that Man United has become since Fergie left. We want to be different to them. We want to keep winning. Yes, it's probably not going to be as dominant as it was under Pep, but give it hope, give it time. There's clearly an idea there. I think we've got rid of a lot of experienced players, which is why obviously we want a lot of experienced players coming in. I think that is needed to help these young players still, but it is clear that they've brought in young players to be there 2-3 years, and in 3 years they'll be the ready product, which they are not at this current state. I'm just saying, stop getting on people's backs. Let's give it a bit of time and we will see.